back to Proactive. Well, here today to talk all things Jindalee Resources is Managing Director Lindsay Dudfield. Lindsay, welcome back to the program and happy start to the new week.
Yes, thanks, Elisha. Thanks. Nice to catch up again and share news we announced with ASX this morning.
Certainly a pivotal announcement for you and the Jindalee team. You now own the largest lithium deposit in the United States, 21.5 million tonnes of lithium carbonate equivalent at the McDermitt Lithium project in the US. Walk us through this update.
Yes, no, as your investors would be aware, we've been announcing some pretty good results from drilling at McDermitt through 2022, the second half of 2022. We announced some fantastic, huge intercepts really on the western side of the deposit, both right on the very edge of the existing resource as it was then, and also outside the resource. So I think there was something like 182 metres of continuous mineralisation right on the edge of the resource, and then we stepped out a bit further outside the resource to the west, and there was plus 120 odd metres of, true width of continuous mineralisation. So we were pretty confident that we were going to get an uplift in the resource space. But even so, this has, been a fantastic result. I'd have to say it's exceeded our expectations, and we're absolutely rapt to be able to announce that. Yeah, we now have 21.5 million tonnes lithium carbonate equivalent, which makes it the largest lithium deposit in the United States. Certainly it's of global significance and certainly of very high strategic value to the United States.
You picked up the McDermitt project back in 2018, so this announcement has been a few years in the making, really. We've also seen some heightened interest in lithium players throughout the United States in the past couple of years. How does this augur for Jindalee?
Yes, no, when we first picked the project up, I'd have to say there are a lot of skeptics. This is a sediment-hosted deposit, so it's a new style, if you like, an unconventional style of lithium mineralisation. Very, very large, but low grade. So they're a little bit like the porphyry coppers of the lithium world. And so there was a lot of skepticism, whether they'd ever be developed. But the two leading examples of this project in the United States have both had very positive news in the last 6 weeks. So it started off middle of January with Ioneer, who have the Rhyolite Ridge project. That's 1.3 million tonnes of lithium carbonate equivalent in resource. They announced that the Department of Energy had granted conditional grant of a $700 million loan to help develop the project. And then at the end of January, we had Lithium Americas, who own the Thacker Pass deposit. So it's 30 k's just to the south of our McDermitt project, in the same geology, same caldera. They announced that General Motors was investing $650 million into their company in order to get offtake from Thacker Pass. And then last week, Lithium Americas followed that up with an announcement that the Department of Energy had accepted their application for a loan and was considering it, but it was considered complete. And assuming that loan is approved, Lithium Americas are confident that they'll cover up to 75% of the capital costs of Thacker Pass. So these are very large, as I said, very large low-grade deposits. They're very high capital up front, but it looks like the funding for these projects is coming not only from the US government, but also through end users, basically helping fund them in return for offtake. And to that end, if you like, we also announced 2 weeks ago now an MOU with POSCO. Now, POSCO is a large Korean conglomerate. They've got a joint venture in the United States with General Motors to supply GM with cathode activated materials. So lithium and other components used for lithium-ion batteries for EVs. It's a non-binding MOU. which is great because it gives us the ability to talk to other parties without being, if you like, forced to revert to POSCO. But POSCO are going to spend $2 million on metallurgical test work on McDermitt ore, share those results with us, and at the end of, no obligation for Jindalee, but at the end of that process, which is expected to take 5 and 6 months, we'll then sit down with POSCO and talk about, how we might look to cement the relationship with them or not. So these are, you're seeing end users and the government stepping up, US government stepping up to make these projects happen, which is really encouraging.
Certainly growing interest among the lithium peers in this space. Now walk us through what's next for this 21.5 million tonnes of lithium carbonate equivalent. I understand de-risking and further test work will be key here.
Absolutely. No, that's, you've got it one, Elisha. It's importantly, I didn't say it at the start, but we've actually more than doubled the amount of indicated resource at McDermitt. So I think it was 4.8 million tonnes. It's now 11.1 million tonnes. That's in the indicated, the higher confidence category. So that's really positive, and that, for example, if we were to move to a scoping study, that means we can wind up with a very large proportion of the material that we're proposing to treat, if you like, via a scoping study examination. That would be in the indicated category with a small amount of inferred added to it. But look, we've also announced that we've got a major engineering group who are got a lot of experience with North American sediment-hosted deposits, in fact, US ones in particular, and they're reviewing all the metallurgical test work that we've done at McDermitt, and they're going to recommend the optimum processing route that we should adopt for McDermitt, and we expect to be able to share the results of that review with investors next month, so March, and then we'll combine the results of that, their recommendations on processing, with this fantastic new and high confidence resource that we've now got at McDermitt, and then we will basically instigate technical and financial studies. So whether that's a scoping study or that we move straight to a pre-feasibility study on the project, that's for the board to determine. But certainly, look, we're very confident that we've got a really live project here. We can see where funding's going to come from now, and we're really keen to accelerate the advancement of McDermitt.
Well, Lindsay, we hope you come back for another chat once you find out what the next steps at the project are going to be, whether that involves feasibility work or further test work in this space as well. Thanks so much for the update.
Yeah, no, my pleasure, Elisha. Thank you.